Hi, this is Jim again. I just want to give you an update on where we are with the latest novel, Tremaine. Well, here's where we are. I can hold it in my hands. This is what we call an author's proof. It comes back to the author. You can get 2 or 3 copies if you need it. For you to take a review and look at it one more time to make sure all your edits are there. There are no other changes. You produce a final manuscript and it goes back to Kindle now for publication. So that's where we are in the process. Now, a little bit about the story. I like this story. It's a continuation of These Sacred Lands. It's part of the I Am a Soldier First and Always series. I've chosen to kind of do it generational. So the first books introduced a character, Mackenzie. The second book, it was about his son and his association with a Lakota warrior named Shadowhawk. So Joshua Mackenzie and Shadowhawk are friends. And it's their lives as we get into the Great Sioux War. Now, what happens in that book towards the end is Shadowhawk has a son, and he loses his wife in childbirth. And to honor his friend Joshua, he names the boy Tremaine Running Deer Mackenzie. So that's what prompted the next novel. It's about this young man's life and how he lives in both worlds. Of course, how he gets there is part of the story. Shadowhawk is concerned that if he doesn't survive in the Great Sioux War, what will happen to his son, especially if life on a reservation is not what he sees for his son in the future. So that's the story. He goes to live with the Mackenzies, and we talk about Shadowhawk and his desire for his son to succeed and be familiar in both worlds, the whites and the cultural side of the Lakota. Joshua makes sure that happens. He continuously has the young boy connect to his grandfather on the reservation, Lone Elk. He learns the Lakota culture. He learns the language from both Joshua and from Lone Elk. And he develops. As he develops into an adult, he becomes an expert tracker and a guide for the Army. He becomes a marshal in the Oklahoma territories, which was pretty wild during that period of time, during the 80s up to the 90s. He ultimately becomes a volunteer in Theodore Roosevelt's first volunteer cavalry, the Rough Riders, and their charge up San Juan Hill. So that's the major muscle movements within the story. What happens to him along the way is he finds the love of his life, has a couple children. It's how he negotiates the ups and downs of being a full-blooded Sioux Lakota in a white man's world and how people react. So there are different things within the book that talk to that dynamic and how Tremaine handles it. Ultimately, what we do is we try to set up the next novel in the series of I'm a Soldier First and Always. And as I said, I keep this in a generational kind of thing. So from the first Mackenzie to Joshua to Tremaine to whomever. Let's see what happens in the next novel. We're up to the 20th century. We're getting ready to approach World War I. Let's see how that develops. But I encourage you to take a look. Give me a couple weeks. This will be ready in Amazon. Look for it, Tremaine, and look for the other novels. I encourage you to take a look at the website, jharoldkellystories.com. There's a synopsis for every one of the books and a little bit of teaser information, as I mentioned, for Tremaine. A little bit more will get put in there once I get it ready for publication. So, look forward to hearing from you. Look forward to you taking a look at this book and the books that preceded it. Have a great day.